In a fascinating twist of fate, the 2026 World Cup kicks off with a direct reverse fixture of the 2010 opening match. It's been precisely 16 years since Siphiwe Tshabalala's opening goal for South Africa united a nation, an iconic moment that was eventually answered by Rafael Marquez's equalizer to force a 1-1 draw. There is even continuity on the touchline. Javier Aguirre was Mexico's head coach in 2010, and he has returned for a third stint to lead them in 2026. While the public is focused on the nostalgia of a rematch, the reality on the pitch requires an objective look at the current tactical landscape. To understand how this match unfolds, we have to look past that history, at the specific technical variables that make this a highly asymmetrical showdown. The match takes place at the historic Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, an arena of immense scale. Kickoff is 9 p.m. Central Africa time, 1 p.m. local in Mexico. Watch via SuperSport, SABC, ITV, or Fox. The expanded 48-team format changes the group stage math. Top 2 teams advance automatically, plus the 8 best third-place teams. This means the mathematical jeopardy of losing the opening match has never been lower. When the risk of elimination is reduced, teams, especially underdogs, are incentivized to prioritize goal difference over risky, expansive attacks. For South Africa, the format makes a conservative, low-event game the most logical path to surviving the group. This divergence in form is stark. Mexico enters the tournament on an 8-game unbeaten run, while South Africa is struggling with back-to-back draws. Mexico's momentum is built on recent victories over Ghana, Australia, and a 5-1 win over Serbia. On the other side, Hugo Bruce has expressed frustration with Bafana Bafana's sluggish performances in their recent draws against Nicaragua and Jamaica. The only player who bridges the gap between these two eras is Guillermo Ochoa, the singular veteran remaining from the 2010 squads. Based on recent results and managerial stability, Mexico holds a significant psychological and competitive advantage heading into Thursday. South Africa is also dealing with an injury crisis on the flanks, having lost natural wingers Thapelo Morena and Mohau Nkoda. This diagram shows how missing those wide players forces a narrow setup, congesting the center of the pitch but leaving the wings exposed. This isolation leaves striker Lyle Foster with very few counter-attacking outlets, as the team lacks the width needed to stretch Mexico's defense. The left-back position is a secondary concern, as Aubrey Modiba is currently struggling with his fitness. Covering for that potential weakness forces central midfielders Jaden Adams and Teboho Mokoena to shift out of position, which opens up dangerous gaps in the heart of the midfield. South Africa is tactically hamstrung. They have to sacrifice their offensive reach for sheer defensive survival. Mexico is positioned to attack that compromised South African left flank, using wide overloads and the physical presence of Julian Quiñones to force a breakthrough. However, Mexico is also missing regular goalkeeper Luis Angel Malagon and midfielder Marcel Ruiz due to injury. This means starting backup goalkeeper Raul Rangel in the high-stakes environment of a World Cup opener. Introducing an untested keeper into the lineup creates unpredictable variance, especially on chaotic set pieces and high-looping crosses into a very crowded penalty box. The environment adds another layer of difficulty. 80,000 fans at Estadio Azteca will create an intense, high-tempo atmosphere for the first 20 minutes. If Bafana Bafana survives that initial period, the crowd's expectations will transform into immense pressure on the home team. While Mexico holds the tactical edge, their defensive changes mean they are vulnerable to a single set-piece error against the run of play. The match will likely be defined by Mexico's wide possession dominance against South Africa's low-block bunker. This matrix shows the expected momentum. Mexico is likely to sustain a heavy onslaught from the opening whistle. The 20-minute mark is the breaking point. If the Mexican attack hasn't found a way through by then, the pressure from the stands will mount. South Africa's goal is to absorb those wide attacks and hunt for a chaotic moment against a backup keeper. This specific matchup is trending toward a high-pressure siege versus disciplined low-block survival, rather than an end-to-end shootout. Mexico's structural depth and momentum present a challenge that is likely too steep for the current South African squad. South Africa's injuries on the flanks leave too many gaps for their defense to cover, against an attack led by Raul Jimenez for a full 90 minutes. For those looking at the tactical outcomes, we expect Mexico to control the tempo and secure a 2-0 victory. While 2010 was a moment of parity and national unity, the 2026 opener will be decided by the clinical application of Mexico's tactical and depth advantages.